Welcome to Empowerment Series with Mary. Empowerment Series focuses on empowering, creating networking opportunities, introducing our audience to leaders, entrepreneurs, and everyday people making an impact in the community and bringing you valuable insights and products. Visit Empowerment Series wherever you get your podcast, and also click below to subscribe so you get our next new episode as they get published. Thank you, and I look forward to engaging with you. I have a very special guest with me today. She's an attorney, a beauty entrepreneur based in Dallas, Texas. She's a founder of Aʻme-kə, and you have to tell me if I'm pronouncing that right, Aʻme-kə, an online retail space dedicated to Black-owned makeup, beauty, and grooming brands. She's the 2019 recipient of the Empowering Visionaries Entrepreneur of the Year award from the Dallas-Fort Worth chapter of the National Black MBA Association and has been featured in Forbes, Black Enterprise, Beauty Independent, and Byrdie. Emeka is a graduate of Stanford University, and she received her JD from the University of Texas at Austin and her M.B.A. and MS in Health Leadership and Management from the University of Texas at Dallas. In her free time, she enjoys writing for Black Texas Magazine, reviewing films on her blog, Black Media Review Collective, and co-hosting the So For Us podcast. Welcome, Emeka. I'm so glad for you to have agreed to join me today. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes. So anything else you want to add to all those accolades and accomplishments that you have?
No, I think that covers it.
Yeah, no, the one that I found that was so impressive was the fact that I didn't know you even have a movie review a blog or, website where I've been there all weekend, this past weekend. I was like, wow, I have to go in there because I love watching movies. So I was like, oh, I need to be able to go in and see, what you've said before I go out and watch any movies. So thank you so much for joining me. Our topic today, audience, it is a lawyer and entrepreneur making an impact in the community. As you all know, Empowerment Series with Mary is all about featuring leaders and community people doing great work in the community. And Emeka, I know her from way back, but definitely finding out on LinkedIn that she has started and founded this Aʻme-kə online retail space was so impressive. I've been there, I've bought some products from there, and I'm telling you, today we have a special. Anyone who's going to be the first two people to listen and subscribe will get a virtual, and tag me once you subscribe, you get a virtual code to the online website to apply to any products that you're going to be purchasing from the website. So I can't wait to see the first two people to subscribe and tag me. So thank you so much again, Emeka, for joining me today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So tell us, outside of all of that, some more about what drives you, what makes you, do all these things, going from, a corporate attorney to having your own practice and deciding you're also going to start an online site that benefits and bring awareness to Black-owned beauty brands.
I'm driven by a few different things. You'll see kind of a theme in all the things that I'm involved in that really is about lifting up and sharing the stories and increasing opportunities and awareness of Black people. So whether it's sharing their stories, writing an article about them and their journey or entrepreneurship, or selling Black-owned beauty brands. Even the podcast that I have is centered on Black millennial women. So that's really important to me. And then the decision to become an entrepreneur is about my family and helping to build generational wealth. And I think it's really important for everyone to at least explore whether or not entrepreneurship is right for them. Yeah. It's not for everyone, but you should at least take a look at it. It really can give you the opportunity to build generational wealth and also control your destiny and legacy.
Exactly. Wow. Yeah, that is so true, right? Because like you said, entrepreneurship is not for everyone because it comes with a lot of work, right? You're not just showing up definitely. At 8 a.m. and leaving at 5 p.m. and going home and doing what you want. It's almost a 24-hour, round-the-clock, dedication to make sure that, once you get started, you are successful. So thank you so much for that. What are some of the challenges that you faced as you were getting into it, getting started with?
Well, one of the challenges is, I've kind of had my life planned out, like myself, I've planned it out from a young age. So my father is also an attorney. So I always planned to follow his footsteps. So it was very clear cut, get good grades, college, law school, and then go down that career path. So I've always had a plan that I'm working towards something. Entrepreneurship, it's kind of open. It's what you make it. There are going to be ups and downs. There's no clear trajectory. So that was an adjustment for me. There's obviously also the adjustment of there's not that guaranteed income every 2 weeks or every month. And also another challenge that I had to overcome was I was new to the beauty industry. So there was a lot to learn and kind of immerse myself in the beauty industry and learn from others and learn about the trends in retail and things of that nature.
Yeah, wow. I can only imagine. That's passion. That is passion and dedication right there. I mean, like going from, like you said, being having your career planned out, being a corporate attorney, doing your thing and then going home and of course, I'm sure you still did a lot of other extracurricular activities that you like, and to add learning about an industry that you were not even in, even being a corporate attorney, you were in healthcare, right? So going from healthcare to learning about, beauty product, that must be some work put into that, to get it to where it is today.
Definitely. And it's always more things to learn, always changing. So constant learning.
Awesome. I think you kind of answered that. I had that as one of my, how and why did you get started? So you've answered that, and becoming a business owner while maintaining your career as a lawyer, because you still practice, right? You have your own private practice now, or do you still work in corporate America?
So I was in-house most of my career, but now I'm in a boutique firm.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Awesome. All right. So tell us more about the vision. Like, I think you kind of mentioned that in the vision behind Aʻme-kə and some of the products that, some of my viewers can look forward to finding on your website.
So the vision behind Aʻme-kə is to become the first choice for consumers who are intentional about looking for and shopping Black-owned beauty brands, and also to be as great a retail partner as I can to Black entrepreneurs who have started their own beauty brands. So we have a wide variety of products. We have over 30 brands. You can find makeup, skincare, bath and body products, grooming products. We also have hair care, and we actually have like hair, so braiding hair, wigs, and ponytails.
Oh, okay. I haven't been to that part of the site, so I have to visit that. So that's such a beautiful thing, right? You didn't just focus on getting beauty products for women, because that's what people typically focus on. You have grooming products for men. To find products that, because as you know, our skin is very unique, right? I know my son, he's 24. Sometimes he uses some products and he will shave and he gets bumps, and sometimes he uses some and he doesn't get bumps. So just because you go to some of these beauty outlets out there and you see a fancy product, that doesn't mean it's going to be good on your skin. So what you're doing, you're curating products that are made for our skin type, so that you can use those products and feel comfortable, that you're not going to get breakouts, you're not going to get bumps if you're a guy, from using some shaving products. So speak to us about that. How did you come out, how did you decide to bring those two together? Because typically most people focus on one or the other.
Yeah, so exactly. You made some great points. So our tagline at Aʻme-kə is made with melanin in mind.
Wow.
So not to be confused with the misconception that all Black-owned brands are only for Black consumers, but rather that because they are Black-owned brands, when they create the products, they have us in mind, right? Because that's part of the problem. Like you mentioned, a great example being shaving products, where many Black men and other men may have special needs because you get things like razor bumps that some of the mainstream brands don't take into consideration.
Yeah.
And kind of tied to why I started Aʻme-kə was because if you look at the numbers, so Nielsen puts out numbers about, consumers and what they're buying. And they have some numbers out there specifically about Black consumers. And when you look at the beauty industry, even when you break it down into different categories, though we're only about 13 or 15% of the population, we actually contribute more than 15% of the revenue in all the categories, including the categories for products for men.
Wow.
And also over the last few years, there has been an increase in consumers shopping for specific brands when it comes to the grooming category. And you'll see there's an increase in brands, and that includes Black-owned brands. So I thought it was really important that I made sure to include some of those brands on our virtual shelves.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, also, yeah, to add to what you just said, especially not just for the products for the body or cosmetic or the hair business, right? That's the one that always bothered me, right? I go into shops to buy hair from people that don't appreciate me, right? So finding the right vendor that I spend my money and know that they appreciate me and I appreciate their product is really key, right? And we have to take the narrative away and own those products, especially for us Black women. So absolutely so happy. I didn't know that you have that. I always focus on the product side, like face, for face and and makeup. I really haven't looked into the hair part of it, so I absolutely will be visiting that moving forward, because I'm sure you've really curated some of the good quality products out there. So definitely will.
And we have some of the well-known brands that you could get in the store, as well as other brands that you may have not heard of before, so you can kind of get a variety. But yeah, product selection, customer experience when you're shopping in these stores, and also the amount of shelf space that they're giving to our brands are really the three main reasons why I started Aʻme-kə.
Exactly. And I'll tell you guys, I have ordered from Aʻme-kə online. There's no difference between the delivery and what I get from Amazon. So it's just as fast. When you order a product, I typically get them within 2 business days. So absolutely check it out and order some really, really nice products, from eyeliners to, I think the last one I just ordered was like mud mask. And both of them work really, really for those of us that have sensitive skin. I break out a lot, even at my age, I still break up a lot, and I have to really find products that help to control the hormonal acne that I get from now and then. So definitely love the mud mask. I don't even remember the brand I got, but I got 2 of them. They were really good. One was with black charcoal, and then the other one had, both of them really nice products. I think I use them twice a week now. And so far, I already see improvement on my face. So absolutely check out
Great.
some of those
Excellent.
products. And if you have some of the products, we can actually showcase them today if you want to, if you have any products. How can people find you? What is your website?
So the website is ame-ke.com.
Okay. All right. We'll have that in the notes. .com. Okay. We'll have that in the notes. So when you click subscribe and go to the notes section, you will find the website. So you can click on it and go to the site to order some products. So what are some of the tidbits, advice that you will give to people, not just, being entrepreneurship? There's some young people out there that may be aspiring to follow in your same career footsteps as a lawyer. What advice will you tell them? What resources are out there that they can leverage to be able to help advance, their dream of becoming a lawyer or an entrepreneur?
Okay. So some tips. I would say networking is really important. That's advice that I wish I would have had at a younger age, only because I'm an introvert. So networking is not my favorite thing to do, but it is really important, really, no matter what industry you're in. But you're going to want to have those connections. You're going to want people to know who you are. That'll be really important throughout your career as an entrepreneur or as a lawyer. Being always open to learning and growth. You're never going to know everything, and also things are going to always be changing. So you're going to want to stay on top of that, stay on trend, and understand kind of where your industry is going moving forward, so you can keep up and not get left behind. Let's see, some resources. If you are an entrepreneur interested in that, Black Girl Ventures, I really like the programming that they put together. I know a lot of major cities have entrepreneur centers, like Dallas, we have the DEC. So that can be a great resource, even if you're just getting on their newsletters and getting it in your inbox. So obviously you don't even have to be in the same city. Those are the main two that are kind of jumping to mind.
Yeah, I mean, those are really good advice, right? For people to, network. I always tell people, for me, networking has almost every career move I've made. It was because of networking. Someone always reaches out and say, "Hey, what are you doing now? I'm over here. If you want to join me, this is what I'm doing. Come join me." And I usually look into it. I've made some transitions that were driven by just people I work with in the past reaching out and say, "Hey, come join me here." So absolutely, networking is critical and very crucial for everything we do. Like you said, being an entrepreneur, whether you're going, learning to, going to law school, talking to the right people will open your mind, give you advice on things that you never knew existed. So absolutely, networking is key to making sure that, you build that relationship that advances you. And for there's some of that, naturally there's challenges that comes with everything. So what have been some of the major roadblocks that you had to either jump through, even as an in-house corporate attorney, or as, like we said, learning a whole new business and then going into that business and working with vendors from all walks of life to bring the products that you're listing right now on Aʻme-kə?
So from a career perspective, I'll talk generally speaking of what I know people like me have faced, just because it's top of mind with Equal Pay Day recently passing by. So there's been a lot of information coming out. So obviously, Black women face kind of a lack of opportunities in some ways when it comes to like promotions or opportunities to pick up managerial skills. and equal pay is not happening. So that's one of the obstacles, and it's kind of hard to overcome generally for everyone because it's kind of within the system, but
absolutely,
that's
absolutely,
something
and I can
face,
relate to
so.
that one. Yeah, I can absolutely relate to that one. So
yeah, I don't think we figured out the exact answer yet, but we continue to bring awareness to it. So hopefully we can all work together to overcome that in all the industries and where everyone is working. And I would say as an entrepreneur, being a lawyer, obviously, naturally, I'm looking at what the risks are, and I'm kind of risk averse. And when you're an entrepreneur, you kind of have to have more faith. You have to be willing to fail your way to success and take chances. And so that has kind of been a struggle for me. On the positive side, it really pushes me to lean into my own faith, not just in me, but in God as a Christian. And so that's something that I'm always pushing through because I really, I'm risk averse, and that just does not match up well with being an entrepreneur. So
exactly, that's why. That's why when I saw when you published, you posted to LinkedIn, I was like, oh wow, that is such a big leap for for not just you, right? Lawyers are risk averse, period, right? And going into entrepreneurship, which is loaded with risk, I was like, wow, that is a really leap of faith for you to want to do that. But absolutely, thank you for that, for those for that advice. Yeah, it's just staying consistent also, right? It's making sure that whatever you put your mind into, you're that there's that consistency to making sure that you see it through and getting it to fruition, especially when you're working with other people now that are depending on you to get their products out there, right? They can take their products anywhere else, but they're trusting you because you're giving them a platform to, bring awareness to their products, and I can say, based on me, knowing you, again, tying it back to networking, being on LinkedIn, I was able to see when you posted that. I was able to say, oh, wow, let me go check out the site. And I've introduced so many other people. I've sent your link across to several of my friends, say, oh, wow, you don't need to be searching, because that's what we used to do, right? The first thing I do now is go to your site. If you don't have it, then I look somewhere else. But before, it's like you go from one site to the other, looking and looking and looking. So now having a platform where most of these products are curated, all I have to do now is make a product selection, not figuring out where do I need to go search. Yeah, where do I need to go search? Yeah, that
definitely trying to be that one-stop shop, because not only searching on different websites, but then you also have separate shipping fees. Right?
Exactly.
So yeah, definitely part of what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. No, I love it. I mean, even my daughter, I told her, tell your friends, you guys, don't be Googling for stuff, where do I find this best product? Or sometimes just watching so many videos on YouTube to understand. And another thing, you have so many people using this and that. But, now I get to go to Aʻme-kə and I just read the product description and I see the type of ingredients that goes into making the product. I'm like, okay, I think that's going to work for my skin. I just grab it and put it in a cart. So thank you so much for making that available to most of us. Right. So let's see. What else do you want to share with us today? What are information that I haven't asked that you think the audience needs to be aware of in terms of either just career advice or from just your website perspective?
Sure. Well, some of the things that you said made a couple of things come to mind. So you've mentioned a few times kind of seeing what I've posted on LinkedIn. So as an entrepreneur, that's something, as an entrepreneur and an introvert, that's something I have had to overcome. When you are an entrepreneur, you're going to be hesitant to always talk about your business on social media and tell people about it. And you think people don't want to hear it, but it's really important that you do that. Like, talk about your business, talk about what you're doing. Like, that's part of getting the word out there. And another tip, if you're starting off, and some people start off and they assume and expect that their family and friends will be their customers. That is not your target. That's not your target customer unless they actually fit into who actually needs and wants your products. So don't go into a business relying on and expecting your friends and family members to shop with you, because that's not a business.
That is
Right.
so true. That is so true, because as we all sometimes family just expect, oh yeah, you're doing that now, so you're gonna give me a free product. So
that too. If you are going to support your family and friends' business, be willing to pay full price. That's a good point too.
Yeah, be willing to pay for it yourself and then give it to them. That is such a good advice that I don't think a lot of people take into. They just assume naturally, why is my family and friends, why are they not going to support me and just buy these products? That is so key. And again, being an online site, right? I'm sure your search engine optimization too. So we can speak, as you know, I'm technology, so I'm going to throw that in there. I'm going to, search engine optimization to make sure that I think right now, like Google and all of them make it so easy where you can actually pay them, a few dollars and have your company name be so easily where you can pop up with someone. Someone just goes
That's
in and
true.
type in, even if they type in makeup, your name should come to the top of that search list so they can click on it. So that's really, really key, is having that, as we call it, SEO, which again stands for search engine optimization. Allows people to find you easy. Even if they're not typing your company name, they just type a product that shows up on your website. The analytics are there now to make your site pop up to the top of the list, so that, people can find you easily. Even if they were not looking for you, they still find you.
Right. So there are free ways to do that, right? So having a blog on your website,
exactly,
and what you're talking about, what are the words you're using? Think about, well, the people who I think would want to shop with me, what types of words and information would they be searching for on Google? Exactly. So that, like you said, with SEO, your name will populate on that list when your ideal customer is searching for those things. Exactly. So SEO is definitely important for e-commerce.
Exactly. Very, very important. And like you said, presence on social media, making sure that you are talking about your products, making sure that you are using, like you say, keywords that people can find in different, with their different browsing experience is really key. So LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, having a presence. I think right now, once you create one, they find a way to have you link them to all of those social media sites so that, people can easily find you. So absolutely crucial to do that. So thank you for that. Anything else? Oh yeah, tell us about your blog about the movie reviews. That's I would love to hear more about that. I've been on the site. When you sent it to me, when you sent, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know that. So because I always go to like Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. But most of those don't put a lot of emphasis again on Black made movies. Right. That's one thing I found on your blog that was really important. There's some Black movies that are out there that I didn't even know were out. Right.
Yeah. So I, like you, I love movies. I also love television. And also going back to some more statistics from Nielsen, Black women consume media more than like any other group in this country.
Wow.
And that's social media, apps on our phone, movies, television shows. And Nielsen has even described us as trendsetters, which I agree with.
Wow.
And you think about things like Black Twitter, right?
Yep.
Or what's going on TikTok, where we have these amazing Black creators and it's kind of being appropriated or copied by other people, and they're being celebrated for. But So when it comes to media, we are large consumers of it, but at the same time, our representation in film and television, we don't have as much representation as we would like. And then also the stuff that Hollywood tends to put out is not really what we want to see all the time. We want a variety. The Black community is very diverse, and we have a lot of different types of stories. And like you said, when you go to most reviews, we don't often hear the voice of the Black viewer. So I created this blog like years ago, but I still keep up with it.
I can see, there's a lot of content out there. I was scrolling through. I'm like, wow, when did she start doing this? This is a lot of content out there. So,
And the goal of it was really for any Black viewer to leave a review of a movie or a story that's a movie or a TV show that centers on a Black story. So you'll see there are other people who leave reviews. It's not just my reviews.
Exactly.
The trailers and the previews and press releases about what's coming out, because like you said, also there are Black filmmakers and Black stories that are coming out and we just don't even know about it. It's just not getting the press. So that's part of it too. So we can know it's out there and we can support those so that more of those stories are created, because at the end of the day, they're going to look at the box numbers.
Exactly.
So yeah.
No, that's pretty impressive. I love it. So check it out. It's called Black Media Review Collective. So check it out. There's a lot out there. If you're a movie buff like myself and Emeka, you will love it. That's because I work so hard. Sometimes just like you, most people think I'm extrovert, but I'm kind of like one of those people in the middle. Like every now and then I'm extrovert, but then sometimes I'm just totally introvert. Like I just want to sit and just do my thing in peace and quiet. And some people, why, you've been like silent, because I'm having a me time. And that me time is more towards the introvert and then I catch up on all my favorite shows on Netflix or wherever, I like to go that day, Amazon or something. So definitely, I'm going to be visiting and probably leaving some of my reviews.
I was going to say, you should send some of your reviews in
I will.
too.
I will. Actually, I will. I'll be doing that.
Great.
With some of the movies that are coming out, that I'm really into. I'm going to go in there and leave my review. Even like you said, even some TV shows, right? There's some TV shows that I DVR. Sometimes I don't watch them for months, but eventually when I'm in that introvert zone, I catch up on all of them and I turn my phone off. I don't, if people call, I'm like, I'll call you back. So definitely I'm going to be leaving some comments there. All right. Thank you so much. I like to leave the podcast really short and sweet. I think we've covered a lot of the contents from, you being, a practicing attorney and also having a business and giving us some of the tidbits of what you've done. I usually have the rapid fire segment where I just ask some random questions and then you give me answers. And one of the ones I have is, what's your favorite book or TV show? I think the TV show will be a good one. I want to know what that is.
I watch so much TV, so I don't know that I have a favorite, but right now I'm watching Snowfall. I'm enjoying the Young Rock show that Dwayne Johnson just put out.
Yes,
This Is Us.
I love This Is Us. That show.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched it in the last few months. I just record a whole bunch of it. So I'm going to have one of those days where I catch up on everything. One of these days soon. Yeah. So are you a reader, being a lawyer? I'm sure you are.
I am. And I don't know. I was nervous about this question because I don't know if I have a favorite
book. Yeah.
Because if I flipped this camera around, you would see I have like all these books over here. I'm looking at them now. I don't know if I have a favorite. I mean, if I'm to be honest, I guess the Bible is the most important book to me.
That's true.
I like Americana and I don't, overcoming.
Yeah. And then the next one I have is, it's more like a sense, why Black enterprise? Why focus on bringing attention to that? I think we've kind of covered that already from the way you answered the questions, but shed some more light as to why Black enterprise and why now. There's so much going on in that space right now. Speak to me about that.
Yeah. For me, I've always been passionate about the upliftment of the Black community. Some years back, maybe 5 or so years back, I was going through like some old papers, like all the way back to elementary school. And I even had essays from like 2nd grade talking about it. It was African American studies, one of my majors at Stanford. And so it's just always been important to me to be a part of creating opportunities for the Black community, being a voice for the Black community, like sharing the story. It's just one of my passions for me. It's something I care deeply about. So it just makes sense that if I'm going to be putting my time and energy and financial investment into something, that it would be closely tied to not only building generational wealth for me, but also for other Black people.
That is so amazing. I think that concept, right? Generational wealth. Even though we've been around for so long, it sounds so new to a lot of people, especially in the Black community. Shed some more light on that. Why is that important that we have generational wealth? Why should people, even though we like to shop, should also think about investment at the same time and building opportunities through creating, a brand like you're doing via Aʻme-kə, where people can, a platform really, not just a brand. You're building a platform where people are, so give us some of the insight as to why that is important, that we focused a lot now, because we always rely on, we need to get this, so we didn't get that. Yeah, granted that we've not had so many opportunities. Doors get slammed in our face just by the sound of our names sometimes. But for people that have taken the initiative to invest in that, why is that important?
I think you touched on some of it. From a historical perspective, if you look at the history here in America, the lack of opportunities to have some wealth building assets available to us, like buying houses where we weren't allowed to buy houses, or different towns where we have built up the wealth. And then, people came in and literally burned it down, right? And that's happened in several different places. Most people think of Tulsa, Oklahoma, but it's happened in other places. And I mean, the list can go on. Opportunities for Black soldiers when they come back were not the same historically in the past. And that continues. When we look up just last month in March, we had Equal Pay Day, where Black women who, by some studies, are considered the most educated group in the country. And we do have the largest amount of student loan debt. And we work hard. Lean In has put out reports saying we're just as ambitious as men, including white men, and we want to go to C-suite and executive level, but the pay gap is such that we get paid significantly less than them. And over a lifetime, I think it's like close to $1 million that we have lost in what we should have earned with the gap. Right. And that's present day.
Yeah.
And then you also think about other things where we're still asking for more inclusion and recognition, like award ceremonies and things of that nature. And so it's really about, sometimes we have to create our own table, because sometimes we're still asking for a seat at the table. And then when we do get a seat at the table, that doesn't even necessarily mean you have a voice at the table, right? You could just be there just so someone can say that they have the numbers as far as diversity, but they're lacking like the inclusion, they're lacking the equity, the retention. And so I think it's important for us to continue to put in the work to get those seats at the table and find equity in those spaces. But I think it's also just as valuable for us to create our own tables too.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I used to be a political junkie up until the last 4 years, and I kind of like, nah, I'm going to step away because I don't need that stress from the political, right? I was watching this lady, Donna Brazil. I think back then she was on CNN or something, and someone was asking her exactly, how did you get, I think that's when she was serving in the Clinton administration. I don't remember. But the one thing I do remember was nobody was going to pull a chair for me at the table. I had to make the chair. I had to make my own chair, and I had to bring it to the table. So that's how I got into, that's how I got to sit at the table. I thought that was so important. That has resonated with me. I wrote it down on everything I had, everywhere I went. I had to make sure that I created that opportunity where I get to sit at the table. And like you said, sometimes I got to sit at the table, but I can say something and it just gets like nobody. And then someone sitting next to me will pick up the same thing and say, "Oh, wow, that is so awesome." I'm like, I just said the same thing 5 minutes ago,
And it's a double whammy for Black women, right?
So
because race and gender and
So I've been in IT. I started out in IT when I was the only female in the room and the only Black person in the room in most meetings that I went into. And so definitely, so that is so amazing. Thank you so much, Emeka, for taking the time today to chat with us, share, your story and tell us about, your adventures and, in the film review space and the entrepreneurship side of you. Again, the first person to listen to this podcast and subscribe will get a virtual $10 discount from me to go shop on Amäkə.com. So click away, listen, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, Emeka, for joining me today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye-bye.